Cutting-edge science and research across Europe now in Futuris.
I'm not frightened of it. I want it done, so it's a new life for me. When I'm fit enough, I'll be able to see my granddaughter married. She's only 7.
After several heart attacks and triple bypass surgery, 70-year-old Anthony Batchelor is about to receive a defibrillator implant to regulate his heart rate in line with his physical activity. The accuracy of pre-surgery measurements is vitally important.
One of the difficulties that we found is trying to measure patients' activity and compare it to physiological responses, such as heart rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, oxygen saturation. And so we have the technology and the ability to record those physiological parameters, but the only way that we can assess activity is by asking the patient. And that's a very subjective measure by definition. And what we want is an objective measure.
Such objective data of a patient's daily activity levels can be collected using a new device developed in Codicote, north of London. After successful tests on horses, the activity monitor is now being used for the medical monitoring of patients suffering from cardiovascular diseases, diabetes or obesity.
I'm just going to put it in.
The single lightweight device worn on the person's waist uses a 3-axis accelerometer to measure the type, intensity and duration of activity throughout the day. It can run up for 24 hours, storing data directly onto a flash memory card. The records can be uploaded to the PC for analysis using algorithms developed within the project. No more need for relying on a patient's own estimates of his or her activity levels. The activity monitor is one of numerous devices developed by 25 partners from 10 countries participating in the Healthy Aims project.
The common theme from the technology point of view is that we're using electrodes and strain gauge technology, which is very simple, but can be fabricated in the nanoscale. And then you can make systems that are micro scale that can fit in or on the body without causing any detrimental effects to the human. So you can treat things that previously you could not envisage treating.
It's jet ski. It's my favourite thing in the whole world, I have to say. Any chance I get to go out on the water, we go out into Poole Harbour and out into the ocean. I can jump waves, I can do all sorts of things, and it makes me very happy.
After surviving a stroke at the age of 12, Marcy Lelliot was left paralysed on one side. Today she lives an active life, works as a teacher of disabled children and is gradually getting movement back into her left hand.
We've developed an implant that goes into the forearm where 2 sets of electrodes are attached to muscle bundles, nerve bundles, which operate 2 functions. The first function is to extend the wrist, and the second function is to open the fingers.
The implant in Marcy's forearms is powered and controlled wirelessly by the removable box strapped over it. Like the activity monitor, the StymieGrip system uses accelerometers to detect its position. A specific arm movement triggers electrical stimulation of muscles and nerves to open and close the wrist and fingers. Marcy has become one of the first patients to use the newly developed device.
Up until this point, there's been very little that has been able to be done for the upper limb in stroke. To a large extent, it's been ignored by the medical profession and people have just been left to get on with it. We now have a possibility of offering a new treatment for people who have not been able to use their hands, and this really is a first.
The device has several program modes to control or exercise the wrist in different situations.
You can feel the implant if you press it, it's quite lumpy, but you can't see it. Apart from the sky, you can't actually see it. When the electricity is actually going through into the arm, it just feels a bit like pins and needles really, but not nasty. You kind of get used to it. It's just a bit of a sort of tingle. The Healthy Aims project is very exciting for me, and just to be involved in something for stroke patients, and if it helps me, then great, but it'll help people in the future.
Similar technology is being used to send electrical impulses to the cochlea, which is the auditory portion of the inner ear, to restore hearing. In Mechelen, Belgium, another participant of the Healthy Aims project is developing a new generation of cochlear implant. It should help deaf people to communicate in noisy conditions and enjoy music. Maurice Vertogen lost his hearing at a young age. Traditional hearing aids, which amplified surrounding sounds, were ineffective. Their quality only allowed the minimum comprehension of speech. The frequency range of sound was very limited.
I have not been able for more than 20 years to listen to music. Not that I did not hear anything, but I could not listen to music.
The implant has changed Maurice's life and that of his family, who now no longer have to assist him.
I'm a normal person now for them, you see? Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah.
The hearing system consists of a wearable ear hook with the wirelessly connected cochlear implant placed under the patient's skin.
This external part, which is worn behind the ear, it contains the microphones, the sound processor, and also the batteries. And actually this external part communicates by means of a wireless link to the implanted casing that contains the electronics. The electronics that generates the stimulation pulses.
The goal of the new research undertaken within the Healthy Aims project is to develop a fully implantable system without any external parts. With this in mind, researchers have developed a safe implantable battery and improved electrodes that provide a better quality sound and are easier for the nervous system to adapt to.
My doctor, Professor Officiers, he told me, in fact, that the main job is not done by him or by the device. The most important work, he says to me, is done by your own brains.
One of the pioneers of the cochlear implantation, Dr. Erwin Officiers, believes systematic screening of newborn children and early implantation for those born non-hearing may open the way to a world without deafness.
Now, with ever-improving technology, we can realize dreams. It's a little bit like when Jules Verne was discussing how to get to the center of the earth or into space, or when Leonardo da Vinci was drawing helicopters and submarines. The ideas are not new, but our technological means to do that are there. And of course, the financial backup from a larger European community to achieve this is extremely important.